Greetings, ladies and gentlefish, and welcome to this game of mine in the IS-3 Tier 8 Soviet heavy tank. This is one of the most popular machines in the game. Now, this is just a bit of gameplay, and I think I put one video up before driving my IS-3 with the stock turret. This is with the tank fully upgraded, but do not expect to see pro IS-3 gameplay here. I am gonna make mistakes. Let's put it that way. I mean, you can immediately see that I am not using an optimal equipment setup. You can see the binoculars and the camo net, which you really don't want in the IS-3. But at the time I played this game, basically, I had been too cheap to buy any proper equipment for it. So, meh, there's that. I'm gonna make mistakes in this game. I'm gonna screw up. But the IS-3 is... it's one of those machines that is very forgiving, so you can make horrendous mistakes, and if you make them in some tanks, you'll just die. They'll turn around and go, nope, you can't do that. The IS-3 is one of those tanks that goes, well, yeah, sure, you can do that. It wasn't the best idea, but you can get away with it. So, yeah. We are here on, is this Steps? Yes, Steps, which is not the best map for the IS-3, not the worst. It'll do. And this is an encounter game, so I'm initially going to come over to the capture circle, and I'm making mistake number 1 right now. If I pause the game, can you see what mistake I'm making? Here's a hint. Look at the minimap. Most of our team have trundled down the 1 and 2 lines. I have a Jagdpanzer 4, an ST1 and a KV3 in support, and they're nowhere near me. Oh, I suddenly notice and then start backing off. Hurrah! And then I push forward again, because why not? I don't know, go figure. Steps is one of those maps that in encounter you do actually, if you're in a machine that isn't very fast, and the IS-3 is fairly mobile for a heavy tank, but you know, it's still not fast. But if you're in a tank like that, you kind of want to go over to the capture circle if you can, because this is one of those maps that's big enough and whatnot that someone can actually cap the game out. If they get into this capture circle. So, bounce that shot on the Tiger 2. What I'm trying to do here is basically the same thing I tried to do, and you'll immediately see I'm outnumbered by lots to 1. It's basically the same thing I tried to do in my 110 in a game that I put up on Himmelsdorf. I'm trying to use the pike nose here, seeing if I can get a shot on that Tiger, and I can't. And here I'm just getting rushed by a whole bunch of lighter tanks. I'm trying to see if I can use that pike nose to angle the reverse side of it to get them to bounce off. It'll make more sense in a moment, I hope. So, mistake number 1, and this cost me an awful lot of health, is basically driving far too far forward on my own. Now, thankfully, some of teammates do eventually turn up to assist me, but I lose 1,000 health for that mistake. Personally lose 1,000 health, that is. So that was, you know, coming over here way ahead of my teammates, really not actually a very good plan. But there we go, what you're going to do. Now, trying to keep my armor toward this Tiger 2. He bounces. IS-3 is very, very bouncy tank. Scoreline is 7-6, and somehow I am still alive. Now, again, coming over to this corner, I can overmatch the roof of a Tiger 2, but if he's going to give me his side, I'll go into that. And there you can see, just to show you what I'm doing here, I'm trying to angle this tank, and you know people say you should never angle the pike nose tank, but I'm trying to angle this tank such that the terrain will cover up this section, pretty much. And all they'll really have to shoot at is this part of the pike nose, and of course this part of the pike nose is angled away from them, so it increases the chances of a ricochet. Any shot they have on this side should be difficult to hit. That's what I'm trying to do, and that's basically the same I did, or a very similar idea to what I did with my 110 on Himmelsdorf way back when. For those who've seen it. There we go, another bounce, this time from the Tiger 1. Now both of these guys, the Tiger 2 and the Tiger 1, have more than enough penetration to go through the front of an IS-3's pike nose without any angling. So if I were just to point the tank straight at these guys, I would expect to get penetrated on a fairly regular basis, which is why I'm not doing that. There we go, a bounce on the turret. Turret is very bouncy on this tank. Shots into the roof of the Tiger 2, but he pulls forward to find the gun depression to shoot me, and I managed to nail him. See, trying to do it again and wiggle. There we go, got another bounce. And I managed to get him in the side armor. and finish him off. Now, that Tiger 1 has quite a lot of health, but I am conscious of the T-34-1 behind me. I'm hoping the KV-3 can keep him off my bum. If the KV-3 can keep him off me, then hopefully I can work this Tiger 1 over. So I'm just keeping an eye on that T-34 because I do not want to get a surprise Chinese injection. As it is, our artillery nukes that Tiger, and so that just leaves the T-34-1 over here for us to come up behind and give a little surprise love package. Now, if you actually look at how that engagement's panned out, I lost 1,000 health because of not really paying good enough attention to the minimap, or paying attention to the minimap and then ignoring it. But since then, I haven't lost a single hit point. That's the IS-3 for you. It's very, very tough. Very hard to kill, and actually has a rather good gun. So, we've cleared out the capture circle, but the scoreline is still 11-11. We were outnumbered on that side of the map, and we still managed to win that side. Our team outnumbered the enemy on the other side of the map, and they still managed to lose that. Now, you can see this is one of those Soviet guns that takes a million years to aim. Take that shot at the IS-3, but I have very little to shoot at, and that was a very unlikely penetration. If I can hit his pike nose, I can penetrate this. I'm not going to penetrate the turret, but there we go. The shot landed to the side and bounced off a bit of angled armor or something. This is not an especially good engagement for an IS-3. Conversely, the enemy IS-3 can't really spot me, although IS-3, the single biggest, I guess, disadvantage with it is the terrible view range, and so neither of us can actually see each other. I'm relying on that artillery to spot him, and that's not something you say every day, and it's not something you really want to be saying. Anyway, IS-3 is moving up to try and nail the artillery. I take a shot without fully aiming it on the basis that he's approaching the GW Tiger. I need to try and do something. Shot misses, but our GW Panther does nuke the Tiger P. IS-3 shoots me, but bounces off as I'm basically hull down behind this SU. Little bit worried about the enemy artillery, however, who is on 2 kills, so we do need to pay him some respect. So both myself and the enemy IS-3 are trying to go hull down. The enemy IS-3 is on 5 kills, so I really cannot take this guy for granted. He's also got more health than me, so, you know. Now, at this range, 377 meters, he's not going to be able to spot me. I do get spotted by someone and shot by someone, and I managed to put a shot into the IS-3. So who's the only other person who would have been able to bounce off me? Realistically, it's a Borsig. And I just bounced another shot. Is that a Borsig with the small gun with that rate of fire bouncing off me? That was never going to penetrate. I've no idea why I bothered. Looked like it, and that was very lucky. That shot, however, does not bounce. And yes, that's the 12.8 centimeter gun on the Rheinmetall Borsig. Now, the enemy IS-3 is moving up to this Su-152 now, and trying to use it to go hull down on, which is entirely sensible. I gave up that position because the Borsig and the artillery. I put 1 shell into the IS-3, and then our GW Panther finishes him off. The artillery in this game really was stellar. Now, Borsig Su-14-2. Borsig has paper for armor, so I'm loading one of my 3 high explosive rounds. Borsig nails our GW Panther, which is a little unfortunate, and my HE round doesn't penetrate. How much pen? 68. I probably hit the suspension, hit the tracks, and just did splash damage. Now, this is a dodgy engagement. Borsig, all tank destroyers had their view range nerfed a few patches back. Borsig, with binos, can probably still outspot me, however, because he will have a way better camouflage than I will. So this is a rather dodgy engagement, and it would be really nice if our KV-3 would give me a hand. Still got the HE loaded because I would really like to pull off that 530 penetration damage. I mean, if I had penetrated that first round, it would have been possible. I'd need slightly high rolls, but it would have been possible for me to 2-shot the Borsig with these high explosive rounds. Borsig spotted there, backing off so that he doesn't just put a shot into my hull armor, and hoping the enemy artillery doesn't nail me. If this Borsig loaded HE at this point, he could just dirt me to death. And he has the small guns, so he has a shorter reload time, so that is a viable option. I take a blind shot, but I just plant the HE round into the ground in front of me. There's the artillery shell, and we're still alive. I'm not aiming these shots particularly, just poking up to take them. Borsig goes off early, and there we go, 585 into him. Loading an armor-piercing round now to finish him off. Now, it actually looks like that Borsig might be using the small gun. He can't be, because he only hit me for kind of 490 alpha. He didn't hit me for 750. And we take that snapshot and miss. If I'd got the vert stab instead of the toolbox and binos and all that jazz, that might have hit. Who knows? But never mind. As it is, it misses. Borsig is on the move. He's going to struggle to aim in time. And there's kill number 4. Backing off. I've been spotted. And there's the artillery shell. So, just going for this Su-14-2 now. The thing is, I say I'm just going for that Su-14-2. The problem here is that the Su-14-2 can still quite happily dirt me in the face. And I'm running low on ammo, so I decided to go for the capture circle instead. Now, I'm going for this part of the capture circle on the basis that that provides me the most cover from wherever he, the enemy artillery, likely is situated. The enemy, our friendly KV-3 saying is very slow, and then, well played to the Su-14-2, he correctly predicts my position in the capture circle, and kills me. Now, I was on such low health that he didn't actually have to get a direct hit to kill me there. You know, a shot landing in my vague vicinity would have done the job, and that might have been what happened. But still, well played to him for putting a shot in the correct place. That is, I think, the only time I have ever been successfully reset in the capture circle. And I actually asked the enemy artillery if that was an obvious location, because I'm still trying to get a feel for which places are good and not good to take in some capture circles. And he says yes, so it appears that's quite a common place for people to sit in the capture circle. So fair enough. You know, his kill was reasonable then. And I thank him for the info. So now it's all down to this KV-3. Now, our friendly artillery was advising me to keep moving in the capture circle there. The reason I didn't do that was because if the enemy artillery came in for shotgun mode, I wanted to have the highest camo rating I could. I wanted to spot him as soon as I could, so that gives me the chance to kill him as soon as possible. So I wanted to be stationary for that to happen. Su-14 goes for another blind shot in a similar location. I think he was working on the logic that the KV-3 might be right up against my corpse, going for cover, but the KV-3 is actually as far away from my body as he can possibly be. I'm just going to speed this along a bit because it takes a while for an encounter capture circle to go up. And if you look at it, we're actually running low on time here. SU goes for another blind shot, and then showdown at the OK Corral. The enemy artillery comes for our KV-3. KV-3 muffs a shot. He's actually using the small 107mm gun here. I say small. Everything's relative. 55 seconds left on the game. And I'm telling the KV-3 if he's fired to go and kill him, because and he does actually go for the kill. Now, I'm not sure if I've paid attention to how much the capture circle is here, how much time we have left on the map. SU has fired, so move KV-3. So this is potentially actually endangering the game. I think the KV-3 would actually have been able to cap that out if it stayed in the capture circle. So that was probably a mistake to advise the KV-3 to go and kill the artillery at the end. But all things considered, it works out in the end. The KV-3, despite being rather stock and rather slow, actually manages to secure the game by taking out that artillery piece. So, a series of mistakes on my part, but got away with it, all things considered. Let's go and have a look at the results for this one. So despite not having an optimal equipment set up and not playing that game as well as I might have done, still actually managed to come away with that with quite a tasty result. Ace Tanker, Fire for Effect, Fighter, Duelist, Bruiser, I think that's Cool-Headed, and a High Caliber medal. 4,325 damage done, 4 kills, 1,431 base experience. Shout out to the KV3 at the end. He was stock, very slow. He still managed to polish the game off despite me derping out. Commiserations to the enemy IS-3, 3,000 damage, 5 kills, not enough for the win. And a shout out to the enemy artillery, Makava Baz. Really nice blind shot there. He seems to be a really competent artillery player, so a shout out to him as well. 22 shots fired, 18 hits, 12 penetrations. A lot of those shots I was taking were snapshots because of my health. Most of it was from a distance of right in your face. We received... Now, this is where the armor of the IS-3 comes into play. And I should point out that some of these shots taken were from a Leopard with an autocannon. But all the same, we received 32 hits, of which 8 penetrated, 24 did not, and 1 splash damage, of course, from that artillery at the end. Blocking 3,740 damage, spotted 4 enemy tanks, damaged 7, destroyed 4, and got just under 600 assistance damage into the bargain. Now, we fired off a lot of rounds there, so our ammunition costs were just under 20,000 credits, but regardless of whether it would have been a standard game or, as we were running at the time, premium account game, we still made a profit. And that was me derping around in the IS-3 and managing to get away with it. So, I hope you guys enjoyed that game. If you did, please feel free to catch some of my other videos and or subscribe to my channel, and I wish you very happy hunting on that battlefield. Ciao, ciao.